It's business and beyond.
Yep.
We're going to get real, man.
Let's do
real
it.
Talk, real people. Because this is about the real dope. This is about real talk. No guidelines, no rules.
Nope.
Make it happen. This guy, we're going to have a hard time shutting him up. Why the hell did you start a business?
I feel like this is the Oprah moment. We got Ronell Winfrey over here, man.
Ronell, I'm not a believer in luck because I think luck is bullshit.
I am notorious for saying inappropriate things.
I am not everybody's cup of tea.
People are going to create their own idea of who you are when you step on the scene, right?
7 seconds for the first impression.
It's really getting people excited about drinking better things, about knowing where what they're drinking comes from.
Working 2 jobs at such a young age. And it was because I had a cocaine habit that really was detrimental to my growth.
Join us for Real Talk with real people and real drinks. Business and Bourbon on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Welcome back to the Shut the Hell Up and Sell podcast. I'm your host, Ronell Richards, the author of Shut the Hell Up and Sell. I want to welcome you guys in again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening on whatever platform you are enjoying this on. And if you're not watching this on one of the video platforms, I really want to encourage you guys to do that because it is so much fun. It just really adds to the experience. So you can watch full video on Spotify and also our YouTube channel. With that said, and with no further ado, I've got Jackie hanging out with us today. Jackie, what's happening?
Hi, Ronell. Happy to be here. Good to see you too. Finally got to meet you last week. I'm so excited.
Wasn't that great? For me.
Yeah, you're famous, so I had to go up to you and say hello when I saw you.
Well,
I've definitely watched your videos.
Well, I have often bragged to my family that I am a D-list celebrity. So yeah.
A-list in the channel, you know.
I'm making my way up. So your background is looking beautiful. Your hair is great.
Oh, thank you.
And what people don't know is that we just spent 30 minutes getting everything set up. Hey guys, this is what happens like in podcasting, in life, in business. That's what you just made mention of some of the content that I put out there. And that's what I want to pull back the curtains on some of those things because people see us on video and all those things and other platforms. And they just think that everything's perfect. And it's not like
smoke and mirrors.
Right. It's there is work and there is trauma and there's normal life things that happen.
Yeah.
Like spending 20 minutes making sure that we get Jackie on screen. Right. So, hey, let's hop into it. First thing I want to ask you is just first share with our audience what it is that you do, what you're doing in the world of sales and business today.
Yes. So Jackie Steinberg, I am channel chief of DartPoints. My company is a data center co-location cloud managed services solutions company. We are brand new to the channel as of a year ago. Historically, we were a direct sales force, and that is why they brought me in. I've been in the channel for almost 15 years. And I was a co-location evangelist in my last role. So it was a perfect marriage of channel, colo, everything we sell, and very exciting times. We're doing really well. We're having a lot of success. So that is what I'm doing here. Ready to go.
I love it. So a couple of things. I feel like when you say like DartPoints, like you should have like a sound logo. Like when you say it should be like pew, pew, pew.
DartPoints. The founders were actually from Dartmouth and West Point. That's the name, DartPoints. So very intelligent people. Yes.
Smart people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And in Vegas, we had a dart board. I don't know if you had a chance to come by the cabana, but we were throwing darts at the board too. And, the philosophy behind the name, there's a couple of things besides the founders. But also, if you throw a dart at a map of the United States, we could essentially build a data center there if you really need one. Because
nice.
we have the flexibility, we're nimble, and it's sort of filling a gap where there aren't data centers.
All right, I'll challenge you. Warner Robins, Georgia.
That's
Youngstown,
yeah,
Ohio, right?
that's
Oh.
exactly our footprint. You nailed it. You know,
Anywhere.
we're really close to Atlanta. We're in the 50 to 100 concentric circles miles outside of Atlanta, outside of like Raleigh, Charlotte. You know, in Ohio, we're outside. We're in Dublin. So yeah, that's our footprint. You
All
just bring
right.
me
Well,
the
hey,
deal.
for those of our listeners that are, when they heard you say channel, like, what the hell is she talking about? But she's talking about the technology indirect channel. This is this amazing, what used to be cottage industry, which is no longer cottage, of um, consultants and VARs and MSPs and that sell products and services of for companies like Jackie's, and these are massive companies and smaller companies, but basically technology B2B products.
Yeah.
So okay, enough of that. Back to you. So I want to know where it started for you. This platform, my book, it's really about, it's about kind of reinvigorating our joy and love of sales and the profession. So I always like to know, like, where did it start? What was your first sales job? And tell me about it. Tell me where you were.
Oh
Tell
man.
me, yeah, let's go.
So when I was in high school, I really wanted to work at the Gap, you know, the clothing store,
Ah,
because I wanted the discount. If you know me at all, you know I love fashion. That's my thing. That's my brand, and it's always been from day one. But they wouldn't hire me because I was too young. I was 16 and I did have a
mhm,
car and I have a driver's license in Illinois. You can get one that young, but I had never had a job before. So I spoke to the manager and she said, if you go and get another job, have that job for whatever, you know, small amount of months, small period of time, come back here, show me that you've done well, get a good reference, and I'll hire you. So
uh-huh,
at the time, I was a sophomore in high school. I was in track, volleyball. I had dance before school. I had early bird gym. I was already waking up
wow.
at like 4 a.m. to get to school and getting home at 9 p.m. at night. I went out and got a paper route.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, luckily, my mom was very helpful because it was in the winter in Chicago. But that's delivering newspapers, you know, back in the day, door to door, and I did it before
What
school.
what are those
I'm aging
newspaper?
myself. Yeah.
Never heard
Oh
never
man,
heard of
it
those.
was really fun. But I had to get up at like 3 a.m. Wrap them up, you know, in the little plastic bands, throw them in people's windows. And
Yeah.
by the way, it was winter, so it was brutally cold.
Oh,
But I learned, and you know, I did it every day. Did it during Christmas, so I got the Christmas, you know, holiday bonus that all the residents would leave as a tip. So
yeah.
and then I went back to the Gap about 3 months later, and I went and talked to the manager. And sure enough, you know, I said, you said if I did this, you would do this. So I held her accountable, and I got hired. So I was
That's
very
what's
happy.
up.
Yeah, I worked there for I think about 4 years, like all through high school.
Wow. Okay, so your first sales job was retail
Yeah.
sales at the Gap. I love that. But I'm going back to the paper girl thing, because you are the first person to tell me they had a paper route.
Really?
And I had one too.
Boom.
I had one
See?
too.
It's hard
Yeah.
work.
How long did you have yours?
Oh,
Because I had mine
three
for like,
months.
wow, longer than me.
I quit as soon as I
Oh,
got the other job. So yeah, it was you know, it was a stepping stone. It's hard. It's really hard
yeah.
work. Plus,
Wow, wasn't
yeah,
it though? So do you remember
after those
those?
tips, after the
The,
holidays were over, I was over. I was done.
do you remember the ink on your
Yes. Oh
hands?
yeah.
Remember
It was
that?
black. Yeah,
Yeah.
your fingers. Yeah. Yeah. I
So now we're both dating
see
ourselves, but
the paper
yeah.
routes.
Shout out to our fellow paper boys and paper girls
Yeah.
out there. Boy, that job, for those of you guys that held those jobs for a long time,
It's
boy, I don't know how
tough.
you did it, because it
Yeah,
sucked.
it's tough. I got, you know, in the winter, I would seriously get in my car and drive from driveway to driveway and just toss it and hope that it lands somewhere near the front door because it was so cold.
Oh,
But
well, you were like, you were in the I don't know, like the nicer, like
I was
suburban
in the
neighborhood
suburbs.
delivering it, because yeah, I had my bike, and it was super weighted down by those heavy ass
Yeah, they were heavy,
newspapers, and
especially the
yeah,
Sunday
it
ones. The
sucked.
Sunday ones
So
were the worst because they had all the ads and they're like that
ah,
thick. You actually had to walk it up there. Yeah.
you know what though? I'm very glad that now I'm sorry for the newspaper industry and all that, but I'm very glad that I didn't have to deal with that with my kids because, as you know,
Oh,
it became a
oh yeah, my
family
mom.
thing.
My mom was
And
helping. If she wasn't there, I don't know what I would have done.
yeah. All right, now we can let's segue away from our paper boy, paper girl
Okay.
trauma, and so that first job in
Yeah.
retail, man. So I started my career in
Uh-huh.
retail as
Where did you
well.
work?
I want to know. I worked for a jewelry company. Shout out to Morgan Jewelers
There you
in
go.
Utah. Spent five 5 years, 4 or 5 years with
Wow.
them. Yeah, it's in my book, guys. It's in my book. I want to know. I find so many great sellers started their careers in
Mm-hmm.
retail. And for me, I know the reasons why I believe that based upon my experience, but I'd like to know, like, what, in your words, Jackie, what do you think you learned in retail that was valuable that that you've applied to it's impacted you throughout your career even
Yeah.
to
You
today?
know, the first thing I think I understood was how to be nice to people and associate yourself with people. And, even working at a clothing store, if somebody walked in and I looked at a shirt and I said, "This looks good with your eye color. You should get it." And they would light up like, okay, I'll take that one and that one. What else can I get? And then making sure I got the credit for it. Right. If I didn't take that client to
Yeah.
the register and typed in my little code, I wouldn't go under my numbers. And it was always a numbers thing. You
Uh-huh.
always want to be the top. So I needed to make sure that, I learned how to get credit for it. Because if you just sell something and let them walk away, somebody else is going to ring them up under their own number. So, make sure that if you sell something, you get the credit for it.
There we go. I like that.
Subsequently
And
get paid.
the the the
Yeah.
establishing rapport. I find that to be a strong suit of the folks that were either in retail or in the service industries. They learned how to establish
Yeah.
rapport and to do that quickly. Um, okay, so my next question for you. I believe that in sales, a lot of our education comes through mentorship and coaching. And sometimes it's official, like, this is your mentor or your coach. And for a lot of us, it's not necessarily official. It's just that we've picked up things from
Yeah.
various people and maybe they've given us a kind word here or there, or whatever. I'd like to ask you to share a one of those experiences. Share with me, shout someone out. We call this
Oh,
person
I
the
love
unsung
that.
hero. This is someone that made an impact, and maybe they don't
Oh,
even
they
know they
do.
did, Jackie. But this is they do. Okay, so
Yeah.
now they're going to know it again. So who
So,
would you
I
like to
actually have
shout out?
three that were instrumental in my career. I could not have started my career in telecom without Kevin Weber. My first boss taught me what a T1 was. Huge shout out to him. JP Panzica, one of my number one customers, always guiding me and telling me where to go. And if I tell him what I want, he helps.
Mm.
And my biggest mentor is Michael Goff. Goff is still in the industry. I saw him last week in Vegas. He knows he's my mentor. He came in at halfway through one of my careers where I was doing really well. I was number one channel manager. I thought I was the greatest thing, and nobody can touch me, and sort of like I'm already doing everything I can. And he came in and said a couple of things to me that sort of like took me back, made me cry about
Hmm.
3 times. Like, oh my gosh, like, what am I,
Mm.
I'm not the greatest, I'm not the best, but really humbled me and taught me how to sort of like take a step back, be better listening, be more of a team player
Mm.
and really focus on the big picture and not just yourself. And once I started doing that, I made 3 times more money than I used to. I got so much better. And he was always a good,
Mm.
take this as a coaching moment. I started with that, but really, really helped. And whether he meant to do it or not, he's still doing it, still helping me. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Goff,
And
Michael
Goff.
Goff.
One more time.
Yeah.
Michael Goff. Okay. Shout out to Michael. But you said something that I haven't heard yet on this platform. And first of all, you shouted out 3 people. Jesus,
I
Jackie, you
can't do
get
it all
greedy, won't
myself.
you? Like when I said, give me one, and you're like, no, I'm giving you 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, you said something that it's a first for this platform, and you
Uh-huh.
mentioned a customer
Yeah.
that was one of your mentors. I'd
Oh, that
like
was
you
a
to
great
let's talk
story.
about that.
Oh
What was
man.
yeah? Bring it on. Tell me who that was, and again,
Yeah,
and
so
tell me
this is
how they
JP
mentored you.
Panzica. JP was, he was the owner of a company. I was working with one of his colleagues. I had never met him in person, never really spoke to him, and we set up a meeting at a channel partners event a few years back, probably like eight years back or so. And it was JP and our partner, his partner, myself, my boss, my boss's boss, my boss's boss's boss. So three of my leaders, JP, me,
Mhm.
and the other guy that was working with him. And JP asks a simple question to my boss's boss's boss, three levels above me. Can you tell me about your SD-WAN platform? Software defined data. SD-WAN, right? Everybody here is in telecom.
Mhm.
Okay.
Not really. Nope.
Software defined wide
They're
area
not.
network. Yeah. So
They're in
SD-WAN
sales.
is essentially like Waze for the internet. It's the shortest route from point A to point B
Mm,
on the internet. How do I get, my connectivity the fastest and the best from the CEO's office to wherever he's trying to do, to LinkedIn, for example,
mhm,
right? So he looks three levels above me, and that the VP looks at his person that works for him, and she looks at my boss. They're all looking at like one level down, and it came down to me to answer the question. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, okay, I have three levels above me, and and they're asking me to answer. This was a new product at the time too. Kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I answered it. I knew I was just dangerous enough to know the basics. You've got to know, right? You've got to know a little bit of the basics of everything that you're selling.
yeah.
And I held my own and, took a deep breath and said what I could and what I knew. And then I saw my sales engineer, like there was a bar nearby, and I hurried over, grabbed him, set him down, and he finished it. So you wrapped a nice ribbon around the SD-WAN platform, and it was great. We ended up selling it. But after that, I felt like I was thrown under the bus a little bit, and I look at everyone's like, you guys,
Mhm.
you should have like taken this as a learning experience, or coaching experience, and talked about it instead of kind of passing it all down to me. So it was a lot of pressure. After the call or after the meeting, JP and I got up, and I was very grateful to him because after the meeting, he said nothing but kind words about me. He said, you guys have a great person in your hands here. And then, he pulled me aside. He's like, frankly, I'm really surprised they did that. They were kind of trying to throw you under the bus. You shouldn't let them do that. And from that moment on, I was so grateful to him and trusted him. He sort of took me under his wings, and we crushed it together, sold a lot of stuff together. We still are. He's actually the one that recommended me to come here and sort of found me the channel chief position. And we're like this. We're tight. We get together all the time and sort of brainstorm, and there's a very good loyalty and trust that was built from that moment on. So yeah.
Wow. So thank you for sharing that. And the reason why I wanted you to talk about that a little bit more is that just has such great alignment and connection to some of the
Hmm.
philosophy in the book, right? So in the book, we're talking about the importance of building these relationships with customers and building relationships of high alignment with customers because, when you do things the right way and you do business the right way, you'll find those customer relationships will stay
Yeah.
for a very,
Yeah.
very long time. Like like this example. And I love again that he has
Hmm.
become a mentor for
Very
you. So
lucky.
think about that. Folks out there that are in decision maker positions, like you could be mentoring, that seller that's in front of you, help them to help. And I think in some ways, it's not just a mentorship that helped
Yeah.
you, it
If he
helped him
calls
too,
me
because
right
now
now, yeah, I'm gonna hang up on
he's
you and answer
coaching you
him.
and help you to be.
That's prior. Oh well, maybe
Damn, it's
not
like
you,
that,
but
Jackie.
that's the sort of relationship, right? You build that trust with somebody, and that's your rock. That's your person that you trust, and it's a cool vulnerable
Yeah.
feeling to have because he knew I was probably freaked out. I wasn't gonna be able to answer the question fully, but I sort of knew who to go get. So I think he liked it.
Well, continuing in the kind of the lane of Jackie experiences that help to formulate your philosophy on business and
Okay.
sales. Now it's storytelling time. I
Yeah.
would like you to share, and you already shared a great story, but I'd like you to share a story with us of something that happened to you. Wow, you just gave me a big one though. So now you're giving me two, but that's okay because whenever I ask you for something,
Yeah.
you like to
Yeah.
give me more than one anyway because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
already did that with the mentors. So now I'm going to ask you for a story.
Mm-hmm.
Something that happened to you could be positive,
Mm-hmm.
could have been negative, whatever, but it helped you to formulate your philosophy on how to do business or
Yeah,
how to
and
be
it
a
sort of
successful
follows
salesperson.
that same situation I was just talking about with with the customer who became a partner. One of the things that I learned was, although I was really successful, making all the money and really crushing it, I was not walking away from a job that was just going to keep me in the same position. I was going to be a channel manager forever, unless I sort of took a step back and started looking around and seeing what else was out there. Essentially, I had to decide, all right, I need to move and go learn from somewhere else, someone else, or a different company. Had to take a huge pay cut to do it, but I did. And because the people I was working for at the time, like those leaders, were kind of throwing me under the bus, I sort of decided, okay, maybe this isn't my spot anymore. Maybe, I'm not learning from these people now. So I should go look outside and see what else is out there. So I took a big leap, went to go work for a big mega carrier. And in about 3 years, I had 4 different roles. So I was promoted a lot, learned a ton. So, one of the stories that one of the points of that story that impacted my philosophy on sales is sometimes the money is not the most important thing. If you're not growing, if you're not around smart people, or
Mm,
I like to be around smarter people than I am, so I can learn from them. It's time to know when to walk away from it.
mm-hmm,
And now about 3 years after
mm-hmm,
I left that job, here I am as channel chief. So it worked out pretty well for me. I've been very, very fortunate.
mm.
But just learning when to walk away and who to follow
So,
and who to kind of step away from, I think is very important.
s- so for you, it was learning at some point to kind of not chase the money, but um, seek a better
Yep, 100%.
an
That's
opportunity
hard to
for
do.
better growth,
Yeah.
right? And then
It's
that's
so
led you
hard
to
to
where
do when you're
you're,
used to
yeah, isn't
when
it?
you're used to the money, and
Especially
it's so easy to just lay back and collect orders and be, sort of complacent. Um, but yeah.
so, considering that it is hard to do,
Yeah.
and as salespeople, we're told to chase the money. How
uh,
did you do it? How did you do it?
I
What was
made
the turning
sure
point
that
for
I
you?
had
How
enough
did you come to
saved,
that decision?
and I made sure I was making the right decision. I was in a position for 8 years, and I was crushing it. The last 5 that I was, I don't know if you can see my trophies; they're all still behind me. I was number one every year, and I had a great relationship with the owners of the company. But I just knew I wasn't growing anymore. There was nowhere to grow for me at that point, and a new opportunity came, and it was going to be a bigger and better, less money at the time, but you just sort of put your blinders on. And I also talked to Michael Goff, I also talked to Kevin Weber, and I also talked to JP, my 3 mentors. And the one common sentence out of all of
Nice.
them was, "It'd be crazy if you don't do this. You have to do this." And I mean, I,
Mm.
I was on the phone. It was pretty nerve wracking. I cried again. Very emotional time, but it worked out. I'm glad I did.
Well, I think there's another gem to pick up from that, guys. Based upon what you just said, you had your, as my
Board of
friend
directors.
Lee
Yeah.
Heisman likes to say, board of directors. So you didn't
Right.
make that decision totally on your own. You went to your
Trusted
group of
advisors. Yep.
mentors, your board of directors, and
Yeah.
yeah, and let them help you make that decision. So um, great share. Thanks for sharing that. So at this point in the podcast, I come to our very last question, which is I like to make sure that everyone that gives us, that gives us their time, which
Thank
again,
you.
there's no greater honor than your time. Thank you for hanging out with us, folks. Um, that they come out of this with something that is tangible, right? Some very specific, practical, simple direction or advice that they can take from your episode, Jackie, and apply to their life or their business to start seeing some more success. So, I would like you to share simple, tactical, pragmatic, whatever
Yeah.
advice,
You know,
tip,
one
whatever
thing that
you'd like
I
to share.
always like to sort of implement in every position that I've had is be responsive. You know, in the channel, time kills deals. I say this almost every day to everyone, to all of our salespeople, our engineers. By the time something comes to me, it's already in the channel. The channel is like a telephone. It's a game of telephone, right? It starts with a customer, then there's an agent, then there's whoever, you know, the tech services distributor, broker, master agent, then there's somebody else. And then by the time it gets to me, it's already been out there for a week, maybe two. So be responsive. If I get something, a question, an email, I don't know the answer to, I respond immediately, say, got it. It's on its way, or, you know, anything, just acknowledge the text or call or what have you, just so the person knows that you got it, instead of, oh gosh, I don't know the answer to this, I'm going to go find it and then get back to that person 2 days later. That, you know, communication is key. I live and breathe by that, even with my kids. You know, just acknowledge somebody. Hey, did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? Yeah, I got you. You know, we're
Mhm.
all moving a million miles an hour, and just acknowledging that, and then follow through with it. If you say I'll find out, go find out. And get back to them. And if you don't find out, find the person who will and set up a
Yeah.
call. You know, make sure that you're following through on your promises.
Well, I like that. That's a piece of
Mm-hmm.
simple advice that unfortunately a lot of people can miss. Sometimes, they
Right.
don't respond immediately because they're
Yeah.
waiting for something. "Oh, I don't want to
Just let them know
respond
you're
until I
waiting.
have the answer. But, we just
100%.
there we go. We just want to be acknowledged, right?
Yeah.
And that's your customers want to be acknowledged, your partners want to be acknowledged. So what I'm hearing from you is that acknowledgement, and then beyond that, are there certain parameters or expectations that you set with your customers or
100%.
partners in terms of
Yeah.
how you will respond? If you
I'll get
say
back to
you
you in
don't have
24,
say you don't
48
have the
hours.
answer
Or,
right
you know,
now,
my
you're just like, hey,
CTO is out
listen,
of town. He comes back on
um,
Monday. I'll set up a call with him. Let's, you
okay,
know, definitely some actionable items, and hold yourself accountable. I also flag everything I have to do on a
okay,
task list in my Outlook. So, you know, if I sent an email today
hmm,
and I don't want to forget, if the person doesn't get back to me, I'll flag it for tomorrow or the next day. So if they don't get back to me, I'm also like asking, hey, did you get my email? You know, it goes both ways.
yeah.
Oh, it's an
So how do you
Outlook. I have
keep
a
your
whole task
flags
list. I
in
love checking
check?
them off. It's a cathartic thing. It feels good. You know. Yeah.
Get those boxes checked. Love it. All right, guys. So there you go. Make sure that you're acknowledging and use
Thank
those
you.
task lists. Jackie, this has been a blast. Thank you for sharing the platform. Thank you for sharing your story, sharing your experience and wisdom. I know I certainly appreciated hearing it, and no doubt our audience does as well. So, hey, what's the best way
Go
for
on my
people to get a
LinkedIn,
hold of you if they
Jackie
want to
Steinberg.
reach out to you?
I think I'm the only Jackie Steinberg on there. My company is DartPoints. You can go to dartpoints.com. You can go. You can email partners at
Pew, pew,
dartpoints.com. You'll
pew,
get a
pew,
hold of
pew,
me. I
pew,
respond
pew.
to everybody.
I I told you need to talk to your
DartPoints.
founders about a sound logo. I'm telling you, every
Thank
time I
you.
hear
Yeah,
Dart
we've got
Points,
the
I need to
emoji.
hear
Somebody
something.
somebody sent me
Pew
an
pew
emoji
or
of a
something. All
dart
right.
and a point, so I
All
thought
right.
that was pretty clever. But I like the sound.
That's clever. That's clever. Well, hey, again, thank you for hanging out, folks out there. If you've enjoyed this, please rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Write a review, share it with your friends and family and loved ones, anyone that cares about sales and business. please share it with them, man. Share the love. Now, with that said, if you guys don't remember anything from this episode, not one thing, remember this. Shh. Say less.
Thank you.
Sell more. See you next time. Hey guys, it's Ronell, and I just wanted to thank you for listening to this episode of the Shut the Hell Up and Sell podcast. If you liked it, please rate us 5 stars on whichever podcasting platform you're listening to this on. And while you're at it, punch that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time we drop a brand new episode. Hey, I'd also appreciate it if you went to our website, shutthehellupandsell.com, and became a member. It's absolutely free, and you'll have the opportunity to listen to previous episodes of our podcast, check out some of our free courses, get a copy of the book, and we'll send you sales tips and motivational nuggets from time to time. Lastly, if you'd like to book me for either appearances or speaking engagements, just send an email to my team at team@shutthehellupandsell.com. Hi, I'm Ronell Richards. I'm so excited to introduce you to Business and Bourbon on-demand experiences. Let me walk you through what a Business and Bourbon on-demand experience looks like. It starts with the shipping of your bespoke Business and Bourbon whiskey tasting or old-fashioned cocktail experience kit. Your attendees will receive that kit to their home or office. After opening their expertly prepared box, the first thing they'll see is a postcard with the QR code. Once they scan that code, they'll be greeted by a customized welcome message where you thank them and communicate your appreciation for the relationship. The message will be followed by a brief introduction by our team and a customized whiskey tasting or cocktail demonstration from one of our best-in-class presenters. All personalized with your logos and speaking directly to your guest. Partner with Business and Bourbon and let us help you do better business through building deeper relationships.